Do you ever notice it? That low, steady buzz under your everyday life? A quiet, almost imperceptible ache that whispers, "Is this all there is?" You wake up, you go through the motions, you chase the goals society has laid out like breadcrumbs on a path. You strive for success, for comfort, for acceptance, and yet, in the quiet moments when the noise of the world recedes, a different question emerges, a question that feels almost forbidden, a thought that flickers like a candle in a storm. Am I truly free? Look closely at your life, not just at the grand narratives you tell yourself, but at the small unconscious choices you make every single day. The words you bite back, the dreams you defer, the opinions you swallow, the paths you avoid out of an unspoken fear. Do you recognize them? Those invisible threads, those silken bonds that seem to hold you in place, not with brute force, but with a gentle, insidious persuasion. They are not the chains of a dungeon forged of iron and steel. No, these are far more cunning, far more pervasive. They are the chains of your own making, woven from the fabric of expectation, fear, and the comfortable lies you tell yourself. You see them in the way you hesitate before speaking your truth, fearing judgment. You feel them in the gnawing anxiety that accompanies any deviation from the prescribed path. You experience them in the quiet resignation to a life that feels less than what you imagined. This isn't about external oppression, not primarily. This is about the internal architecture of your own confinement. The prison, my friend, is not outside your window. It is within the very walls of your mind, built brick by the unconscious agreements you've made with yourself and the world. And the most terrifying truth? You might not even know you're incarcerated. You might have grown so accustomed to the bars that you mistake them for the horizon. We are born into a world brimming with possibilities, a canvas awaiting our unique brushstrokes. Yet somewhere along the way, the vibrant hues begin to fade. The boundless horizon shrinks, replaced by the neatly drawn lines of convention. We are taught to fit in, to conform, to seek approval. And in this relentless pursuit of belonging, we often sacrifice the very essence of who we are. We become actors in a play written by others, reciting lines we didn't author, wearing masks that slowly fuse to our skin. Consider Plato's Allegory of the cave. Imagine prisoners chained from birth facing a wall, their only reality the shadows cast by a fire behind them. They believe these flickering images are the sum total of existence. They name them, categorize them, build entire philosophies around them. They are content in their ignorance, for they know no other truth. Now imagine one prisoner is freed. He turns, sees the fire, the objects, and then agonizingly is dragged out into the blinding light of the sun. His eyes burn, his mind reels. The world he knew is shattered. He sees the true forms, the vibrant reality. But when he returns to the cave to tell his fellow prisoners of the sun, of the world beyond shadows, they mock him. They call him mad. They prefer their comfortable, familiar darkness. Are we not in many ways those prisoners? We are born into a cave of societal expectations, cultural narratives, and inherited beliefs. We are shown shadows, the shadow of success as defined by wealth and status, the shadow of happiness as portrayed in glossy advertisements, the shadow of love as depicted in romantic comedies. We spend our lives chasing these shadows, believing them to be real, building our identities around them. And when a flicker of doubt, a whisper of a different truth dares to penetrate our comfortable darkness, we often recoil. We cling to the familiar, even if it's a lie, because the truth, the raw, unvarnished truth, can be terrifying. It demands that we dismantle everything we thought we knew. It demands that we step into the blinding light of self-awareness, where the shadows of our past, our fears, and our unconscious biases are exposed. This isn't just a philosophical musing, it's a psychological reality. Our brains are wired for comfort, for predictability. We develop cognitive biases, mental shortcuts that help us navigate a complex world, but often at the cost of objective truth. Confirmation bias, for instance, makes us seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs while ignoring anything that challenges them. We build echo chambers around ourselves, both online and in our personal lives, where our views are constantly validated and dissenting voices are silenced or dismissed. This creates a powerful self-reinforcing prison of thought where our own minds become the most effective jailers. We become so adept at filtering reality that we only see what we want to see, what aligns with our pre-existing narratives, what keeps us safe within our self-constructed cave. The comfort of these chains is insidious. Like the frog slowly boiled in water, we often don't notice the temperature rising until it's too late. We adapt, we rationalize, we tell ourselves this is just how things are. We trade the vast, terrifying ocean of authentic living for the predictable, shallow pond of conformity. And in doing so, we slowly, imperceptibly lose touch with the wild, untamed spirit that resides within us. The spirit that yearns for genuine connection, for profound purpose, for a life lived on its own terms. This brings us to the second, perhaps more unsettling truth. We are often the architects of our own prisons. We don't just accept the chains, we forge them. We become complicit in our own confinement through self-deception. Friedrich Nietzsche, that audacious provocateur of the human spirit, spoke of the will to power not as a crude desire for domination over others, but as a fundamental drive to overcome, to grow, to become more than we are. He challenged us to become what one is, to forge our own values, to create our own meaning in a world devoid of inherent purpose. But what happens when our will to power is misdirected? What happens when we use it not to overcome ourselves, but to maintain our comfortable illusions? We lie to ourselves, not out of malice, but out of a profound, often unconscious desire to protect our fragile egos. We tell ourselves we're too busy to pursue that passion, too old to learn that skill, too untalented to create that art. We invent elaborate excuses for our inaction, for our fear, for our complacency. These aren't just harmless white lies. They are the mortar that binds the bricks of our internal prison. Each excuse, each rationalization, each deferred dream adds another layer of insulation, another barrier between who we are and who we could be. Think of the gilded cage. It's beautiful, adorned with comforts, filled with food and water. The bird inside is safe, protected from predators, never wanting for anything. But it can never fly. It can never feel the wind beneath its wings, never soar above the trees, never experience the boundless freedom of the sky. We often build such cages for ourselves, filling them with material possessions, superficial relationships, and the fleeting dopamine hits of instant gratification. We convince ourselves that this comfort is freedom, that this safety is happiness. But deep down, a part of us, the wild, untamed part, yearns for something more. It yearns for the terrifying, exhilarating freedom of the open sky, even if it means facing the storms. Psychologically, this is the realm of defense mechanisms. We repress uncomfortable truths, project our own flaws onto others, rationalize our poor choices, and deny the parts of ourselves that don't fit our idealized self-image. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow self, the unconscious aspects of our personality that we deem negative or unacceptable, and therefore suppress. But these shadows don't disappear.
They fester. They influence our behavior from the depths, often manifesting as self-sabotage, anxiety, or a pervasive sense of unfulfillment. We are, in essence, fighting a war against ourselves, and the battlefield is our own mind. The prison is not just built by external forces, it is maintained by our own internal resistance to self-knowledge, our own fear of confronting the uncomfortable truths about who we truly are. And what is the cost of this self-imprisonment? The weight of unlived lives, the quiet knowing regret of paths not taken, of words unspoken, of dreams left to wither on the vine. This is where the insights of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the German theologian who stood against Nazism, become profoundly relevant, even for those not religiously inclined. Bonhoeffer spoke of cheap grace versus costly grace. Cheap grace, he argued, is grace without discipleship, without the cross, without Jesus Christ. It is forgiveness without repentance, baptism without personal confession, communion without self-examination. It is, in essence, a comfortable, undemanding faith that requires nothing of you. Translate this to the secular realm of self-actualization. Cheap grace is the comfortable illusion of personal growth without the discomfort of genuine change. It's reading self-help books without applying their lessons, dreaming big dreams without taking courageous action, wishing for a different life without making the sacrifices necessary to achieve it. It's the belief that simply wanting something is enough, without the arduous, often painful process of becoming the person who can achieve it. It's the endless consumption of motivational content without ever truly being motivated to do the hard work. Costly grace, on the other hand, is the pearl of great price, the treasure hidden in the field. It demands everything. It demands self-denial, radical honesty, and a willingness to suffer for what is true and right. It is the call to follow, to act. Yes,